We are here for the Ribbon Hill Library Trustees meeting. Today is Thursday, April 10th, 6:30 p.m. All right, getting started. Correspondence.
So we got this today. It's a certificate awarded to Ribbon Hill Library in recognition of valuable support from the Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts, Girl Scouts Troop 61150.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Okay, thank you.
They have a meeting here. It was nice of them to acknowledge the library. What's your number, Sam?
61150.
Okay, minutes from prior meetings. Did everyone have a chance to look at the meetings from March 13th? Any feedback or questions?
I fixed the location.
Thank you, Mara. Okay. Motion to accept?
I move to accept the meeting minutes from March 13th, 2025.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. Treasurer's report.
All right, gift, we have $40,483.64. State aid has $39,355.88. MMDT has $19,302.14. Building gift has $30,057.08. MBLC still has the $686,044. Lead has $116,895, and the birth month ending balance was $1,681,716.10. That is lower than prior month.
Yeah. Okay, does anyone have any questions about the treasurer's report? Okay, moving on to friends report.
I was not there. I'm just looking over the minutes right now. Let's see. So they approved summer reading budget requests. 5,000 for children's, 5,000 for teen, 2,500 for adults. In addition, 1,000 for a patio makeover, $1,000 to purchase new planters, plants, furniture, and lights to make over the patio for the spring to make it more inviting. And this happened, I believe, right after mini golf.
It did.
So I don't see their total on here. Do you know?
The rough total I was told is about 15,000.
Right, that's what I heard too.
Net?
Net.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that is their expenses.
So they recapped mini golf. I don't know what they said, but and then they recapped the Love Your Library candy contest. All good was I mean, how could that be bad, right? Candy. And then they voted to continue the Fresh Pack TerraCycling program. And then staff appreciation luncheon, looks like it's September 30th. Book sale is coming up next month, the first weekend in May. So I believe I saw the book drop-off day is April 30th. Rings a bell. I'm trying to find that information.
Should be the few days before.
Yeah, so yep, so the 30th is drop-off day, and then so that whatever that weekend is, I don't know, but that first weekend
May
is
3rd,
yeah,
4th maybe? 2nd, 3rd, 4th,
something like that. That sounds right.
Yeah.
And that looks like the main things.
Thank you. Sam, building updates.
So the elevator, Eric is still working on getting the purchase order. Apparently it's gonna be very expensive. He didn't say exactly how much to have those links fixed. He said it should be okay until they do it. And he's gonna try to do it around our schedule. And then the front door keeps being the front door. It keeps there's like a little wire that controls the push bar and it keeps shorting out. So Neshoba says that it's the software, but we can't find anything in the software.
You had someone look at the software. Okay,
So Eric is also working on that.
thank goodness for Eric.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's about it.
So sometimes it will close and sometimes it will open. That's the,
Yeah, it'll be technically it does the system that says it's unlocked, but the door will
Mm,
unlock itself.
okay. Any questions about building situations? Okay. Moving on, assistant director's report, Mike.
I went to, well, virtually went to MBLC Tech Services user group yesterday in the morning. And then I was on vacation half of last week and the week before, and then sick. So pretty much just been catching up on everything this week.
What did you learn at the user group?
Aside from boring catalog stuff, I guess a lot of libraries are sort of redoing the local history and archives, and that's kind of causing a problem with MBLC because it's a lot of time and effort to do it. So they sort of made up a new procedure to catalog all of the more archival stuff than local history stuff. So that was something they sort of rolled out and explained. It doesn't really affect us because we don't have that sort of archival stuff here, but it was interesting. That was really the highlight.
So it doesn't apply to,
It doesn't apply.
it doesn't apply to the history?
No, it's for like stuff like boxes of papers, like government papers and stuff like that. We don't. I can ask Jeff, but I don't think we have anything like that here. We have more pretty standard like books and reports and stuff like that, which are easy to catalog. So this is more like loose leaf stuff or what's other stuff, like not schematics, but like building
Blueprints.
blueprints. That's the word. Thank you. Blueprints and stuff like that that some libraries had, and they didn't you know what to do with them or like what they wanted to do with them for MPLC. So they came up with a new procedure for it.
And just to confirm, it's MBLC, not MVLC.
No, MPLC.
MV.
Yeah, this
Victor.
is the
Okay, just for the minutes, I just want to make sure we had the
Yes.
right one.
VLC.
They sound the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Badly.
Thank you. Does anyone have to write the right? So great.
Like success.
Does anyone have any questions for Mike? Okay, director's report.
Okay. So I was the Bolton Public Library director, Kelly. She reached out to me and she told me about Bolton Pride. Bolton is doing a Pride Festival. I guess they've done it a few times in the past, and in the past they've reached out to neighboring libraries, and this year they reached out to all the Neshoba libraries. So I'm not able to make it, but I reached out to staff, and James and Susan are both very excited to go and represent Littleton. So they'll be going to the booth at Neshoba Pride on May 18th from 1 to 4. And so yeah, so I just want to make you aware of that.
Great. The day. May 18th.
18th from Bolton.
Is that a lot? Oh, would that be an hour library booth? A library's booth? How does
No,
that?
it's just like one booth. It's sort of like Third Thursday,
Yeah.
except it's just gonna be one booth with Neshoba libraries, and then there'll be other booths for other
Yeah, okay.
organizations.
Do you guys need to bring anything for the booth?
Yeah, they're all coordinating with each other about what they're gonna do. I guess there's gonna be buttons and lots of other little things.
Okay. If it doesn't fall into like a regular budget, you can let us know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure friends would support too.
Yeah.
We held an all staff meeting on March 18th. We mostly went over the emergency management plan and other updates. The staff went around the room and gave updates about what they've been doing. Talked about upcoming summer reading. Overall, everyone's doing pretty well. They did suggest that we stay open later on Mondays and Fridays until 5 because it's hard to get patrons out the door on those things. So I'm looking at maybe next year with some staff changes, it might be possible, actually.
With the current budget?
Yeah, with the current budget. So I'm still looking at it, but it probably won't be until next fiscal year.
Mhm.
thanks to funding from the friends, I spruced up the patio a little bit. I'm still working on it. Um, and I attended a VLC membership meeting on March 25th. At that meeting, we most discussed their plan to move to the new offices in Lawrence. So they've been in North Andover for a few years now, but they hate it there. It's the landlord doesn't really help them, and they keep losing parking spots as new. It's like a big complex, and there's lots of different organizations and companies that work there, and they've lost parking spots. They've had floods. Yeah, so they're moving to Lawrence anyway. So that was mostly what we talked about how they're going to be sort of offline for the next couple of months. Not really, but sort of. And while they move, and yeah. And then with the temporary closing of the Westford Library, we've seen a huge increase in the number of patrons coming from Westford here. So it's been good. You can tell I come in, so
Hoping their library looks like this man with little old Vernon.
yeah. So staff has been very busy just working with them. Plan to take a vacation in a couple of weeks, April 25th to May 2nd. And I also sent out an email telling you guys I have surgery scheduled for May 30th. And I'll be out for 2 weeks. The surgery is going to be simple, but I won't be able to talk. So, they say I might be, but but anyway.
But Mike's got it covered.
Yeah, but Mike's got it covered, and he's going to cover the trustee meeting that we had in June.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the rest is just the stats. Budget's doing well. We're on track for the year. We're almost done. Almost reached tomorrow. Only a few $1,000s still to go. And yep, we're doing good.
How long is Westford's closure?
I think they're moving into their temporary space now, and then they're going to have a temporary space, but it's going to be very limited.
More like curbside.
Yeah, I think so. And then I think it's going to take 1.5 to 2 years before their renovation.
Okay. So they're in the process of moving to the tent.
Yeah, they're renovating the current library. They're currently moving to the temporary space. They might even be in there by now. It's been a couple weeks. I'm not sure when I don't remember when they're reopening. They're opening the new temporary space, but since then, a lot of their patrons have just been coming here because I don't think they have the same sort of, like, I don't think you can just sit there, right? Just read and.
Yeah.
I heard the temporary space was curbside only, like
I think
there's no physical library to go into.
I know that's what Mel did to theirs when you're in the process of it.
Yeah, and then the new center is supposed to, the opening day is supposed to be May 16th for that. That's gonna be the ribbon cutting.
Will you be at that? Is that in between your vacation? Yes, in between post vacation before surgery. Okay, any questions about the director's report?
Sam, I have a question for you. If you, so my understanding, there's discussion about what to do with the town hall building. And there's a meeting, I think it was last night.
Well, but this town.
Yeah.
So yeah, from what I understand, their plan is that the departments are going to move out into a temporary space at the old IBM building, and then the new town hall is supposed to be built at that site. And then the idea for this building is to turn it into senior housing. Whether that means renovating the space, which probably won't happen, or just tearing it down and building a new 40-unit space is the plan, which the town would lease from, I believe it's Sal or whoever ends up.
We'd lease this building.
The town would lease that new building, the senior housing. So we're gonna have to discuss what the parking.
That was my concern.
situation
That is
Absolutely.
something between the two buildings here I'm very concerned about.
So that's not gonna happen for like 4 years. So we have a lot of time, but that is a concern that I'm aware of, Liz is aware of.
Yeah, no, it's gonna significantly impact both of these buildings.
And from what I heard of the meeting last night, it was the town's plan was not well received. So the people that were at the information session were not happy with that.
I was unable to attend, so
right. So
I'm assuming it was recorded.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. It's coming up at town meeting also, so there's
Right.
Is that this town meeting?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
whether that,
I will look
Goes
for the
through or
information
not.
session to listen to.
And you're also well aware, I sent out an email, Brian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is moving to
When
another,
is he departing?
after town meeting, so middle of May.
Where's he headed to?
Concord? Where Anthony is.
Sorry, Anthony is, okay.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
thank you.
Yep.
And if you hear anything about, or anything we should be aware of with the parking lot building area, just let us know, please. Keep us up to date.
I already have concerns about the parking because I've come on a weekday to just try and go to town hall and there's nowhere to
There's no
park.
parking.
And once the center opens, like where are all those people supposed to park?
And a 40 unit will come with cars.
But even now, once this opens, it's gonna draw more people because it's more space. So where are those people supposed to park? I don't know.
Yeah, so they're supposed to have parking across the way, and then they're also gonna work on creating parking on the Shattuck Street side. Like parking that you can like pull into.
And hopefully, when is Park and Rec moving? Because they
That's
have,
also supposed to
in
be
the
coming up
summer.
soon.
because they have the vans that
My,
pick up.
my understanding is that's the summer,
Oh,
like in their busy season, so.
What's gonna happen to the house?
Oh, the
The
house.
one next to it, they're using
Yeah.
for her office, that's supposed to be sold.
Yeah, they're just gonna sell it.
Yeah, they're gonna sell it back. They're sold this.
Yeah, I don't think town's keeping it. It was just used.
Yeah,
During
someone's gonna
construction.
have like, a backyard full of seniors.
They're gonna have a short library. It will have, you know, the best purple door in town.
Okay, Ray Grande scholarship updates. Chris and Steph and Sam and I met and narrowed down the field from 11 to 5. We are doing an interview with those 5. That's next week, next Wednesday, I want to say, with each of the 5, at which point we will decide which two to give the scholarship to. Lots of really strong applicants. It was great to have that many. Yeah, do you want to say anything, or Chris, want to say anything?
I thought it was hard to choose, and that was not something that we necessarily had anticipated because at
Yeah.
first we were like hoping for more.
Yeah.
There's a lot of applicants. I was
Yeah.
surprised.
I love
when we
it.
put up
Yeah.
First.
I think 5 is the most we've had in the past.
Yeah, 5 is we thought the 5 was the one.
Yeah. Yep, so well done to everybody who sent out the information about that.
So the subcommittee will decide. And what
With,
the,
yes,
and how did the rubric piece work
next
to get it down?
Great.
Okay.
That's just, it was a time, Chris didn't like it very much, so some of it, yes.
So just thinking a process for next time.
Yeah.
Once you guys are complete, we can.
Well, one of the things we said for next time, and it makes more work for not necessarily Sam, but whoever does this, is when we receive them, you could de-identify them to the best of our ability, and then that would be part of the rubric.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think that was a big problem
Right.
necessarily,
Yeah.
but it would at least provide anonymity, aside from the people
Yes.
who say, hi, my name is, and
Yeah.
check.
I haven't had.
Okay, we can redact that too.
Consults with you guys about it, but I'd like to at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe when you guys are done,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
We'll have to do the same thing. And we didn't necessarily cross-check how anybody did it against the rubric. So I don't know if we can, for the interview, make the rubric like a suggestion. Like it's useful for us as a tool, that I didn't ask to see yours and how you arrived at your score. So
Yeah.
if it's a gut thing and you're not worried about it, I think we can assess it that way maybe for the interviews, but maybe we can talk right before. We should, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Glad there's a process.
All right, staff appreciation budget.
All right, so I got the quote from Corporate Casuals and Steph circulated the order sheet for staff, and you have the numbers of everyone's ordered.
Everyone has except for one who said, thank you so much, you guys are great, I still have my merch from last time. So we have one who doesn't want anything and everybody else ordered. The one question we have maybe for Sam is, there's only one polo among the group, and
It's okay to do a polo if they want polo.
That was my concern, is like, can we just get one?
Yeah, we can get one.
We can, but I can check in with you separately just to make sure that person would want something if everybody else is not gonna have it. I mean, I don't think everyone's dressing and matching outfits and going, but just maybe just aware that like everyone.
Well, sometimes.
They all show up.
But if it's worth communicating that way, without the peer pressure that everyone else is doing.
Yeah, I mean,
Or is it-
we'll still order whichever they
Yeah.
want, so.
No problem. And then is there anyone among us who wanted one that I didn't get a response from? And,
I should volunteer
and
so I can get in.
We can talk about that. Yeah, we're paying for out of pocket, so yeah.
I did have a question about the
Yeah.
logistics for that. Like, how do we?
Let's coordinate with Sam
Yeah.
after for the, I know we had a process before. let's-
I can pay for it with the credit card,
And then we
and
reimburse
then,
directly.
yeah, you just write a check to the library.
So at this point, we need to, vote for withdrawal of money, based on the numbers of shirts and the types of shirts and, extra costs like the setup fees and things like that. We, are suggesting that we move to withdraw up to $800. That should be more than enough to cover everything and also give Sam a budget for adding a few extra items into the list to have for future staff members.
Move to withdraw from and move to, but it has to go somewhere.
I'm not, that's not my order. I'm just saying this is
Oh,
our
okay.
suggestion.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if
yeah.
everyone is comfortable with it, I'll give you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So $800 seemed to be more than enough. It was like $650.
540 without including the extra.
And then there's a 35 fee on top of it. So yeah, like that gives you another couple hundred to get some extra shirts for future staff. Or as needed,
Without having to take out.
which is what we did with the fleeces before. Yeah. And that worked relatively well. Okay. So, I moved to withdraw up to $800 from, the Barth line 314 Second Century Libraries Fund to the MMDT for purchase of staff shirts.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. Chris, do you have that?
Definitely not.
Okay.
$800, that's second century, but.
Then you got the main things then. I'll send it to you right now.
That'd be great.
So that was it for shirts. So we will be in touch about for anyone who wanted to order their own shirt, what your check will need to be.
Thank you both for working on this. Very excited about life. Please pull my.
I was excited for every order.
All right, Director Performance Review updates. Sam, thank you for submitting your draft performance review. Thank you to everybody who submitted their feedback. Sarah and Katrina and I are going to meet after this to review everyone's feedback. So thank you for that and come up with a kind of a consensus feedback for you. And we'll meet with you next week. I think it's next week. Yeah. Yes. To go over that. So thank you. Money. Does anyone have any things they want to say about that? Okay, just an update. New business.
Yeah, so I'd like to request that we open at 1 p.m. on September 30th, 2025, December 9th, 2025, March 10th, 2026, and June 9th, 2026 for staff professional development days, meetings.
Gotten these ahead. I like it.
Yeah.
You know, I said a whole, not even on the fiscal year making a request before.
Do you have ideas of what you want to do for each of those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Both.
But those fit the
Placeholders.
calendar well and the timing for staff.
Yeah.
I didn't catch the dates.
Right. They were written down somewhere.
September 30th, 2025, December 9th, 2025, March 10th, 2026, and June 9th, 2026.
I move the library closes or opens late on the dates Sam listed for professional development.
What time is that usually? 1?
1 p.m.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Thank you.
So I'm sorry, September 30th, December 9th, March 6th,
March
10th.
March 10th,
Right?
Yep.
June,
March 10th.
and then June 9th.
Yes.
I forget. Okay.
2026.
And we're opening at 1
Yes.
those days. Okay, great.
That's our common time.
All right, Sam.
All right. So, the survey that I put out 2 months ago, I took offline last week, And so some highlights were that the top reasons that people visited the library. So first of all, we have 93 respondents, 186 were online, and 7 were paper. The top reasons people visit the library were 84% said borrowing books and other media, 54% said attending events or programs, 30% said meeting others, and 30% said other. And some other reasons included notary services, using the seed library, museum passes, just doing work, doing puzzles, and play and socializing with their kids and with each other. Overall, library satisfaction with programs is very high, or high at 86.4%. Patrons like to see more author talks, more arts and crafts programs, more book groups, more genealogy programs, and game nights. The majority prefer in-person programming over online or hybrid, but some people did say they like that. Popular programs include story time and youth activities, technology workshops, book clubs, and author talks. And they said they primarily learned about library news through the newsletter, social media, and the library website. Although a lot of people said they're kind of over social media and they don't like it anymore, or they prefer that we use other social media outlets. So that's one of the reasons I created the Blue Sky account. In case you're wondering where we have a Blue Sky account. They responded that overall they were satisfied with the format of the newsletters, with most responding they felt neutral about the format. They did not prefer shorter over more frequent newsletters or over longer monthly newsletter. They prefer online marketing to print, although I have been creating. So as you guys know, I have to create a newsletter also for the town. So that I do in Word. So I realized I can just print that out. So I've been printing those out, and those have been going on hotcakes.
That's
so
right.
apparently people like that too. So and yeah, I killed 2 birds with 1 stone because I have to create it anyway. They suggested we move away from Facebook and Twitter and some alternative social media outlets, like I said. One of the most frequent suggestions was extended hours, as I said before, Sunday hours, more staff picks displayed online. So I'm working on doing that. I figured out a way to do it through a library, but I'm trying to figure out how to make it more nicer looking, basically. So I'm trying to remember my HTML from school. And several respondents said they weren't on social media. The survey results reflect strong community support and satisfaction with library services. Patrons value both physical and digital offerings. They very much value the library staff. Like I said, they requested that we explore the feasibility of longer operating hours, increase programming variety and accessibility, and improve communication and outreach to ensure patrons are aware of what's available through online services such as Skype. Any questions?
A few. One is thank you for the survey results. Is there any way to see their responses? It doesn't print out like 78 responses to what is your
Yeah,
feedback?
the file was too big, so I can send you the link.
Love it for those. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I tried to do
Curious.
that, but it was way too big.
Yeah,
That'd be great. I'd
yes,
love to see the info.
Sure. Yeah. And then follow-up question had to do with, well, I guess just a couple. The longer operating hours. I forget. Did we ask when they what days they would want to see? Like what? Was it like bigger at we want Mondays and Fridays to be longer? Like,
no, I think that wasn't a specific question. Yeah. I think that was just something wrote comments.
Okay.
I appreciate that it came up in the survey, and I think personally, I think this is something we should totally explore as we do the strategic plan, and do the community engagements and things like that to get a better feel when people want the library open. And that's one possibility. If we want it sooner than that, then we can come up with a plan to talk about it.
So I think the follow-up to this was, what are you and Mike going to do about the results?
So we've been working on, I've already worked on creating more programming that fits. So like we had the sourdough Brandon the other night. That was a huge success. We had a huge turnout for that. Working on doing more arts and crafts programs. The author talk thing, I think people think they're looking for like John Grisham or something like
Yeah.
it's way too expensive. But there are ways around that. Like you can do online.
Chelmsford does that.
Yeah.
You can be not just your library, but
Yeah, you
few
can get
different
broader.
libraries, yeah.
Yeah. So when I
Yeah.
went to Phoenix to the conference, there is an organization that does that.
Yeah.
And I just have to reach out to them and talk to them. And then like I created the Blue Sky account to try to create more differences. I've been printing out the newsletter, and patrons seem to really like that. Yeah, so we're working on just responding to their wants. Overall, they seem pretty satisfied with what the library does, actually.
86% is pretty good.
Yeah. So
Good job.
Yeah.
it's pretty good. But yeah, so just working on, more programming offers, and that sort of thing.
Is there ways to still keep the library visible in town that we haven't, to reach out to people we don't typically see? I know like there's the 250th event happening on April 19th. And they were looking for people to do booths.
Yeah, we could definitely try to do that. I've been I've been thinking about trying to get out there more and like maybe going to the senior
Yeah.
group down the road. They did reach out to me the other day and asked if we had a bookmobile. But I could probably go there, or some of the staff go there. It's just really it's finding people to go and do that. The issue, the budget for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely.
Is it something we can look at in strategic planning too?
I don't know enough about the funds, but is that something with funds would ever do, like if it were coordinated in terms of going to people, or that's. Sorry, you'll be looking at me.
I don't know if that.
When I think of.
Really interesting.
It's exploring ways.
Yeah, it's hard because like who gets the survey is probably the people who come here. So who are we missing and what feedback might bring them in the door?
So at least you did.
But
do
it's
them
great, yeah.
You did do them on
You
the
did.
town newsletter, and you also did it on like as a town.
You definitely
thing,
reached out,
yeah.
A typical channel.
And looking at the ages too of who filled it out, that was, missing some.
I mean, only one person said they never came to the library.
So at least you could have never.
I think the rest of their answers. So, like, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's hard. And I think the connection piece this day and age is really hard to establish and then you take beyond like the typical circles. So, but this is it gives you direction for the next near future and where to go and where to keep going.
It's great.
Next question.
Sure. Oh, you're not supposed to, technically.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll ask you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, any other questions or comments about the survey? Oh, thank you. That was really revealing. Other business. I have a couple things. Do you have is there anything? Okay. First, I think we probably all got the email about IMLS and some changes. Sam, I just wanted to check in with you and see, it looked like from our perspective, we're not going to have access to some of those free webinars and things like that we had before. And then also some stuff about like, I don't know if the Perkins books apply to our library or not, but how are you feeling about what's not feeling? So, is there anything that we can help with? Is there
Impacts of the changes in the federal government
I mean,
coming
we're
down?
not directly impacted, but it really mostly affects NBLC and their staffing levels and
Their support.
yeah, their support. I never really saw a huge. I don't think a lot of our patrons use like the Perkins School for Blind or things like that. So I think we're okay.
Okay. All right.
And the Girl Scouts validate you. We are necessary.
Okay. Thank you for there were emails that I got like 4 from various different places. But when you do hear things like that, and if there's a way that we can advocate or support or anything like that comes to you and you think we should know, like please keep forwarding it on. Yeah. Like going to the State House, whatever, right? Yeah. Okay. Does anyone else? Oh wait, I have one more thing, which was Mira. This is your last meeting.
Yes, it is.
Mira, thank you so much. You've been here for like longer than
Everyone except Chris.
Yeah, everyone except Chris. Thank you so much for everything you've done. Very, very
Pleasure.
grateful.
And
Thank you.
good luck to my successor.
Yeah, so thank you for that.
Sure.
That's what I wanted to say. Does anyone else have any other business they'd like to bring up? All right. Does anyone have, as a trustee, any updates they'd like to share?
Well, I went to mini golf both Friday night for the adult night and then Saturday with my daughter, and I always love that. I also did lots of library bingo cards. I didn't win any,
Oh, no, Sarah.
but I
Yeah.
won last year, so it's all good. But I did at least 5 bingo cards. One, I filled a card.
Whoa,
So, and then others so I really enjoyed the library bingo.
It's great. Good.
The author talk of the Cambodian genocide.
Mm,
Yes,
that was really good. I appreciated that collaboration.
Mhm.
So more things like that would be wonderful to see. I know that was funded by a grant from the high school as well,
But Sam's talked about doing Littleton Reads.
Next year, the school.
Year.
Yeah.
So I look forward to that.
Yeah.
I do think a lot of people enjoyed that. Just the presentation, but also the books here are accessible and everything
right.
to go with it. Sam, there was a question actually following up with that. The school was wondering what happens to the books that were here. One that
I asked them what they wanted me to do with them. They said that they would get back to
okay.
me. So they would ask me.
There was a question of whether
They're still here.
if we are to weed them, could it be weeded in a way that could be reused by town? That's the question.
Yeah, so we
Or in a book
putting them
or
in the
bag
storage.
or something.
We can put them in the storage room. That's what we usually do with
The large numbers.
yeah, the large.
So they stay around for circulation if another school wanted to do.
Yeah, sure.
I also just give them back to school.
I know. Well, the teacher who ran it was wondering. I'm glad you reached out to them to ask if they were able to do
That
it.
was the first thing I asked when I went.
They weren't ready for questions. But they asked me after, so that's good. No, that was great. Mini golf went well.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you for your help. They were great. It was nice to have community back. Like it was a nice touch point. I enjoyed it. Ring around in the building again. It's a fun event.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
I was with a group of people who are readers that the night of it, and they're like, "Oh, that's this weekend." But and then I thought about like, was there anything missing in the marketing or in that? And I said, no, if you don't know about that, that's out. That had to be a choice. I think that I thought that the information was really out there about when it was, and it was very well.
If you have ideas of, I think everyone in town, not just libraries and friends or whatever, trying to get, social media that doesn't work the way it used to. And it's hard to get in all the newsletters and things like that. So if there's any ideas of how to get into,
Do you
information
do
out
lawn
there.
signs at all?
No.
I mean, a few lawn signs or even like the
I mean,
sandwich
they do
board?
the A-frames.
Okay,
They have multiple of those out.
okay. Yeah, I think that's, I mean, if you drive around and you don't see that.
I know. And it's always been March, so
Yeah,
it's there and it's on outside of the library and it's in the newsletters. It's in the
Yeah.
newsletters. It goes into the school newsletter.
there's always gonna be people that say, oh, I didn't know. Well,
I know.
That's gonna be
I
on you
think they
because,
didn't know, like, oh, I forgot today was March 13th. Like, I think
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
knew it was happening, but they
Right.
would piece it together with like that also equals this Friday.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was my
Yeah.
takeaway. Is it in the schools? Because I know that's harder to resist. Like, if my kids are like, don't forget it's mini golf on
So
Saturday.
the principal newsletters have changed how they
Yeah.
put it all on a community link website. And so if you don't click through to the link, you don't get any of them.
but I think you're more asking like, if the kids knew, then they would want to come on the Saturday. And I don't know that it's relayed to the kids because they don't really do that kind of announcements in the morning announcements. It's more, at least
It
at the
used
high
to get
school,
into
they,
the principal newsletter much more visibly than it is
right,
currently.
but I don't think they communicate that to the kids at all. They just don't communicate community events to the kids at the schools, which, I don't know. I think if they did, it would be too many things to try to announce.
Everyone's trying to announce.
Right.
That's why they created the
Yeah.
web page for clicks through. But we did make it into the high school's newsletter.
So I don't know, maybe you could put up a flyer at each school?
There was.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a new person in marketing, so she went around and did everything she could think of.
Okay.
So at some point you're like, all right, I don't know how to break through this. So if there's a new way, we're all in it. You know. But they did have some new members who were really engaged this year, which is great.
Mhm.
Good. Anyone else?
And lots of life stuff happening, so I don't think I have anything.
It's okay. All right. Shall we have a motion to adjourn? Oh,
I move to adjourn.
I second.
all in favor?
Okay.
Right.